Yo everybody, anime spring season is coming up soon and with a fire roster. Kaiju number 8, a new season of Demon Slayer, and Windbreaker?
Huh?
No, not that one. But out of all the anime coming out this spring season, the one that I am the most excited for is Kenka Dokugaku, or in English, Viral Hit. Play that intro. Viral Hit is a Korean webtoon from author Park Tae-jun and artist Kim Jung-hyun. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who's watched my channel to know that I'm a fan of Park Tae-jun comics and Viral Hit. By now, Korean webtoon anime adaptations are nothing new. Us webtoon fans getting more and more news about adaptations than ever before. God of High School, Lookism, Solo Leveling, and even True Beauty, which has a perfectly fine and arguably even better drama adaptation, is getting an anime, with mixed receptions. But yeah, a lot of people are saying Solo Leveling might have been the best anime of last season, so the Korean anime wave is definitely steamrolling ahead into better days. In this video, I will quickly go into the details of the anime, what the anime may adapt, and most importantly, what makes Viral Hit specifically a likely contender for the best new anime of the season. If there is one section I urge you to watch in this video, then it is the last section, trust me. First of all, let's go over some details about the anime. Viral Hit is coming out in the middle of April, so very soon or already out depending on when you are watching this video. Attack on Titan animation director Satomi Miyazaki is providing character designs for the anime, and Yutaka Yamada, who has produced for the Tokyo Ghoul OST, will be working on the background music. Two anime that I love, so I hope that it is a sign of good things for the show. This anime will be simulcasting on Crunchyroll, as you may already know, as the Crunchyroll YouTube channel posts a majority of these trailers. From the trailers, it is safe to assume that Crunchyroll will have the anime in a Japanese dub. I have a feeling the voice actors will be referring to the characters by their Japanese names, but I'm hoping that Crunchyroll will at least translate the English subtitles with their Korean names for us webtoon fans. Solo Leveling had two dubs, one of them where the Japanese voice actors spoke in Japanese, but referred to the characters by their Korean names, i.e. Sung Jin-woo, and another dub, shown exclusively in Japan, where the Japanese actors called the characters by their Japanese names, i.e. Shun Mizishino. I got to experience this when I visited Japan and watched the Netflix version of Solo Leveling there, and noticed the change. If Viral Hit has the same variety of dubs, then I'd be happy, but I'm also down for just the subtitle changes, which I think may happen because of the trailers. Some notable voice actors that I'm glad to see are Yui Ishikawa, voice actor of Mikasa, voicing Bomi, Nobuhiko Okamoto, voice actor of Bakugo, voicing Snappa, Kaito Ishikawa, voice actor of Genos, voicing Taehun, and Ai Fairu, voice actor of Jolene, voicing Gaul. This star-studded cast will surely mean talent and passion will be brought to life when voicing these characters. The more emotional scenes of early Viral Hit being acted out well. Speaking of early Viral Hit, what chapters do I think they will adapt? Going back to my Lookism anime video I made in January of last year, the Lookism anime was able to adapt about 3 chapters per episode. Taking this into account, assuming Viral Hit will be a 12-episode anime, Viral Hit will see itself end around chapter 36. Assuming some filler is removed so that space is made like the Lookism anime did, then that may mean we get to see the Wanguk and Gyeol arc see its completion as the ending of the first season. This actually makes narrative sense for the anime, as they are one of the first big XJ Company villains that Hoban has to face. This arc is also just a really well-written arc, which means it would be a fantastic end to the Viral Hit anime's first season, whilst also meaning that it can set enough intrigue for a potential second season. This prediction of mine means that a lot of my favorite fights out of every webtoon I've ever read will be shown. These fights being in these early chapters of Viral Hit. The only thing potentially wrong about my prediction of the adaptation is that the calculation of 3 episodes per anime was based on early Lookism, the chapters being considerably shorter than Viral Hit. But anyways, this all leads to the final and most important section of this video in particular, why viral hit? I ooh and ah at viral hit in my 3rd ever video on this channel. But to give you just a taste on what makes viral hit so amazing, I will sum it all up here. The art. The art of the webtoon is truly just amazing. Kim Jung-hyun is one of the most talented artists in the entire webtoon sphere. Detailed illustrations, easy to read movement, and well-designed characters makes Kim Jung-hyun stand out from his peers. The viral hit anime definitely seems to capture that essence that many of the viral hit characters have, just in the context of a Japanese anime, which is nice to see. Do I think that it is as detailed and as beautiful as the webtoon? Not from what I've seen so far, but I do think it is a much more difficult task for the anime studio with a much smaller budget than, let's say, to Solo Leveling, whose art style I may remind you is a lot cruder than viral hits, meaning the comparison between the two adaptations is harder to be fair. I only mention Solo Leveling because that's an A1 studio anime with a way bigger budget that looks infinitely better than the webtoon in terms of art. I do think that viral hits anime adaptation is a lot more faithful in terms of original character designs than the Lookism anime, for example, but as I said in my video from last year, I was able to warm up to the Lookism anime changes as well. The characters. The characters of viral hit are some of the most fun out of the various webtoons I've read. One of the reasons being because of the connections they form. Hoban starts out as a bully loser, and slowly and gradually gains more and more friends to create the Hoban U Company. He starts to create a genuine family. Like, at its peak, these kids were really ride or dies for each other, ready to face any challenge, no matter how high, because they had their back. Not only is this ride or die mentality such a nice thing to read, but the characters by themselves are super interesting as personalities. Hoban, the clueless but persevering moron who does stupid things earnestly. Snapper, who is hopeless in many things, except for his commitment to viral hit and Hoban. Gaul, with her funny mannerisms and quirky personality, all of which I'm excited to see voiced and imagined in an anime context. And Taehoon, who is probably the most interesting character out of all of them, with ties to other webtoons of the Park Tae-joon comics universe, as well as just having some of the most interesting moments of the entire webtoon. The characters of viral hit is what makes you care about the stakes of this very well-written story. The concept. The concept of the webtoon is super unique, and in the context of an anime, can actually play into the YouTube element a bit more. The whole shtick of viral hit is that Hoban and Snapper run a NewTube or YouTube channel where they live stream fights, interacting with chat and accepting donations. Hoban, who is a loser, learns how to fight because of another user on NewTube he accidentally stumbled across, who posts videos on super specific ways to defeat fighters. All of these NewTube elements are super funny in the webtoon. Whilst live streaming, each panel has a chat box with the chat typing their reactions, with the donations being a source of much of the comedy of the webtoon. Now imagine this, but in an anime. The immersion of Hoban talking to us as the viewers, seeing the chat as if it was a chat box in real time, as well as the donations popping up on screen realistically like we were watching a Twitch stream, would definitely be utilizing the anime medium wisely. Hearing Snapper behind the camera, as well as seeing the handheld motions of Snapper whilst he is trying to follow the action, can really add an element of depth to viral hit that was simply not possible in the webtoon format. My gut is telling me that if the producers are creative and risk-taking, the anime can truly utilize the whole YouTube shtick the webtoon has going on, and improve upon it tenfold. The fights. The fights in viral hit, in my opinion, are the best fights written in webtoon, or at least out of all of the webtoons I've read. The fights are technical, interesting, and a genuinely fun thing to read. And when I say fun, I mean fun. Why? Well, let me explain. Because Hoban is a weak loser who does not know any martial arts, he turns to NewTube to learn how to fight. These NewTube videos he finds are super specific, technical, and unorthodox in their approach to teaching a person how to fight. But the most important thing about them is that they are not only practical, but very effective. Seeing Hoban implement these unorthodox, goofy, and deceptively moronic techniques and succeeding, being some of the most fun underdog fights in any medium I've ever consumed. To avoid spoilers, as I know that this anime will bring a lot of newcomers, I will give a very early example that demonstrates only a fraction of what makes these webtoon fights the best. At this point in the webtoon, Hoban is thrust into a situation where he's left to fight for himself against a way stronger, taller, aggressive opponent in a karaoke room. Hoban is weak and has only watched 2 videos from the Chicken Sensei up until this point, one of which being to keep his cool. After keeping his cool and analyzing his opponent and what his dominant hand is, Hoban is ready to implement his second technique. The video was titled, How to Get Hit So It Doesn't Hurt, a quite alluring title that sounds almost too good to be true. Without revealing to the reader exactly how the technique is performed, we continue reading. The advice goes, if you figure out your opponent is right-handed, you face them and stand to their left. The Chicken Sensei's words echo into the webtoon panel, predicting that the novice fighter swings their fists back really far. Hoban prepares everything correctly and anticipates his opponent's actions just as the Chicken Sensei said, and implements the technique. The technique being to get hit before the punch reaches its full force. Hoban, forehead first, getting hit with the punch. Snapper is confused, the chat is confused, and his opponent is confused, which leads his opponent to simply keep punching. Hoban weaving and headbutting his opponent's fists. The Chicken Sensei's words ringing through his ears. His predictable punches are nothing to Hoban's technique and cool nature. Hoban starts crying quite pathetically, as he had only watched 2 Nuchu videos before this interaction and wished he'd had learned some more techniques to use, but still implements his headbutt technique to not get hurt by his opponent's flurry. That's when the true kicker of the technique shows. His opponent's fists are so damaged that he rolls to the floor in pain after having bashed them against Hoban's forehead repeatedly. Hoban, looking quite pathetically, leaves the karaoke room as the winner. Snapper, looking in admiration, and the chat, loving every minute of Hoban's pathetic but inspirational way of winning. And the video that was uploaded as a result, getting over 1 million views in a week. These fights only get better from here. They're not a simple fight about who is the strongest, but who has the wit, grit, and techniques to best the other opponent in their specific circumstances. This is Viral Hit. These are the fights I consider the best in Webtoon, and this is the main reason as to why I think Viral Hit is spring season's best upcoming anime. Thank you all so much for watching. Check out my Webtoon fashion videos if you haven't already, as well as my Viral Hit and Lookism videos as well. I'm sure you would enjoy it. More Viral Hit content will be uploaded on this channel as well, so subscribe if you want that. I really appreciate everyone who subscribes and comments. It helps a lot. Thank you guys so much, and bye!